Hi everyone, thank you for checking out my channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. This video is part of the series of videos I'm posting to try to help people out when it comes to aptitude tests like the civil service exam. Right now, I'm not at my room, obviously. I'm here sa San Juan City Hall, holding a review program for their employees. And I did promise dun sa mga nag-attend ng review na I'm going to make a series, or I'm at least going to make another learning experience na about age problems. So I'm going to release the video na I usually use for the online learning program for free, so you have something to learn regarding age problems kasi I know it's a very tricky topic, and that is what I'm going to do right here, right now habang nagla-lunch break sila, okay? So I'm also going to pair it with an exercise. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find the link to the exercise down below, okay? So thank you guys, and I'll see you in a bit, okay?
This is going to be challenging, I'm not going to lie. When I was studying in high school, kahit yung mga people, sabihin natin from top sections or some of the smartest people I know in our batch or even older batches, still had trouble with this. Age problems is really tricky. And that is the reason why I'm making this new free video for all of you guys. Now, the reason why I'm making this is so that you can maybe pick up yung technique on how to use the table to parang guess or estimate kung ano yung tamang sagot. The reason for that is because I know that a lot of you, even if probably you try really hard, you won't have enough time to master yung technique of creating the equation in order for you to get the correct answer. Kasi the problem with age problems is that you don't just need to know the answer. Bago ka makarating sa answer, you have to know kung ano yung equation. And most people cannot convert the problem into an equation. Kasi nga marami masyadong factors involved. And so, hopefully, if you learn how to draw the table, if you learn how to master kung paano gumawa nitong table na to, at the very least, you can start using trial and error to get the correct answer. The problem kasi is if without the table, if you don't know how to draw the table, you're not going to get kung paano ito trial and error. So kahit trial and error itself, you cannot do it if you don't understand the problem. Okay? Now, I'm going to use this sample muna. Okay? In this question, it says, in 4 years, Leia's mother will be twice Leia's age today. If Leia will be 30 years old then, how old is Leia's mother now? Now, when it comes to age problems, the first key na kailangan nyo matutunan to draw is yung tinatawag nating table. Now, in order for you to draw the table, there are two things that you need to pay attention to. Number one, you have to know kung ilan ang tao. Now, ginawa ko siyang parehong T para lang mas madali ninyong matandaan. Yung tao. Yung dami ng tao sa problem, this will determine the number of rows. Okay? Na kailangan sa table ninyo. Second T. The second T is yung time period. Ibig sabihin nun, kung anong mga panahon, past, present, future, ang nilagay dun sa problem. Yung time period naman will determine the number of columns sa inyong table. Okay? Now, iisa-isahin lang natin siya. Again, with age problems, there is no magic fix na parang, okay, so 30 seconds masasolve yun na siya agad. Not necessarily. In order for you to build up speed or para bumilis kayo, it takes a lot of practice. And in my experience, the only reason why siguro sabihin na natin I'm faster than a regular person would be kasi bata pa ako nag-age problems na. And I basically did not stop, maybe. Kasi I keep teaching people how to do it. Alright? So, ituturo ko sa inyo paano mag-drawing ng table. Unang tanong, ilan ang tao sa problem? In this problem, meron kang number 1, Leia's mother. Unang tao. And number 2, si Leia. Wala naman ng ibang tao. Kung wala ng ibang tao, ibig sabihin ng dalawa ang rows sa inyong problem. You have first row, which is yung Leia and si Leia's mother. Okay? I'm just abbreviating para lang mas madaling tingnan. Si Leia, si Leia's mother. Okay? Dalawa ang tao. Next question, ilan ang time period? Now, yung time period, you would know kung ano yung mga time period sa problem dun sa mga in blank years. Okay? O kaya blank years in the past or in the future. Pag nakalagay na years, pero hindi years old, that is time period. Bakit? Okay? Kasi, for example, in this problem, meron kang in 4 years. Okay? Now, yung in 4 years, you have to ask yourself, past ba to, present, or future? Ngayon, pag tinagal natin, pag in 4 years, the best way for you to know kung nasa past, present, or future siya is i-apply mo sa sarili mo. For example, I am 29 years old right now. In 4 years, ilang taon na ako? Okay? So, 29 ako. In 4 years, I'm going to be 33. So, ibig sabihin nun, kung from 29, ginawa kong 33, ibig sabihin yun, that is in the future. Okay? So, pag in 4 years, in 10 years, in is in the future. Okay? Now, yun yung unang word natin, yung in blank years or blank years ago. Pag ago, okay, that becomes that is a time period naman in the past. Okay? So again, exposure ang key here. Now, meron na tayong future, meron pa bang iba? Now, you notice the word here today. So, ang today naman, okay, or present, okay, or now, those words naman pertain to present tense or now. So, meron kang future, meron kang present. Meron pa bang iba? Okay, wala na. Now, some people would say, ay, ito, 30 years old. But the thing is, years old siya. Ibig sabihin, age ba yan o time period? Age yan. Ibig sabihin, age mismo yan. Hindi yan time period, hindi yan in 30 years, hindi yan 30 years ago, hindi yan 30 years in the future or 30 years in the past. That is 30 years old or actual age yan. So, hindi yan counted. Time period lang ang hinahanap natin. Okay? Dito na papasok kasi yung kailangan talaga ng basic understanding sa English din para malaman ninyo kung ano yung mga tenses na pinag-uusapan. Ngayon, in this case, meron kang past, meron kang now at saka meron kang future. Now, there is something that most of you are already familiar with, yung number line natin. Okay? Now, when I write my table, it's always past, present, future. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Habang gumagalaw ka pa right, dumadagdag yung edad. The reason for that is kasi visually, I know na kung ang present ay 0, kasi for example, if I say na, kung 29 years old ako, what is my age now or present age ko? Wala naman akong gagawin doon, 29 pa rin. If I say what is my age 5 years in the past, ang gagawin ko is, babawasan ko siya ng 5. Kung 29 ako ngayon, 5 years in the past, I was 24. So, ang past is negative, ang future is positive. So, the more na gumagalaw ka sa table pa right, nadadagdagan yung edad, pag bumabalik ka sa nakaraan, nababawasan naman yung edad. Okay? So, yun yung importanteng tingnan. Bakit? Para pag nilagay ko siya sa table, okay, dalawa ang time period natin, dito ko ngayon ilalagay yung now. Kasi yung now yung 0 point natin. Ibig sabihin wala kang gagawin dun sa now, na age. Tapos meron kang in 4 years or 4 years in the future, that is plus 4. Ayun, bakit plus 4? Kasi kahit ano pa yung edad dito, para makuha mo yung age in 4 years, magdadagdag ka ng 4. Kung 29 to, 33. Kung 40 to, magiging 44. So, pag tumalon ka ng table pa right, magdadagdag ka ng plus 4. Okay? So, again, yan muna. Start with that. Okay? If it takes you a few minutes on your first try, that's okay. Normal lang yun. Okay? Now that we have that, yung structure ng table, we will start filling in the information na meron dito sa table natin. Now, I'm just going to erase this para lang mas madali nyo makita yung tanong. Okay? Iisa-isayin lang natin to. Sabi, in 4 years, Leia's mother will be twice Leia's age today. Now, it looks complicated kasi ang daming nangyari dun sa sentence, but ang gagawin natin, hahati-hatiin natin. In 4 years, Leia's mother. Tanong, nasaan yung kahon na in 4 years, Leia's mother? Dito yon. In 4 years, Leia's mother. Ito yon. Right? In 4 years, Leia's mother. How do you know? Kasi ito yung time period niya in 4 years. Sino yung pinag-uusapan? Sorry, hindi pala ito. Ito, Leia's mother. In 4 years, Leia's mother. Kasi ito, in 4 years, Leia. So ito pinag-uusapan nating bilog na yan. Yung bilog na nasa ilalim. Okay? Yun yung in 4 years, Leia's mother. Ngayon alam natin yung pinag-uusapan. Ang sabi, in 4 years, Leia's mother will be, ibig sabihin ng will be is also equals. Leia's mother, itong edad na to, is equal to twice. Ano ibig sabihin ng twice? That is 2 times Leia's age today. So, tanong, nasaan yung box na Leia's age today? That is this. Leia's age now. So, ito. Sabi, pag times 2 ko daw ito, lalabas yon. Okay? Ngayon, sa traditional method, ang mangyayari dyan would be this becomes x times 2. Okay? And what I'm going to do right now will be I'm going to show you yung traditional method and then I'm going to show you my way. Okay? Ngayon, now that we have that, ito yung traditional method x, ito magiging x times 2. Sabi, if Leia will be 30 years old then, pag sabi will be, ibig sabihin that is in the future, si Leia then, in 4 years, will be 30 years old, how old is Leah's mother now? So, ito yung nahanap. Okay? Now, in that case, ibig sabihin nun, babalikan natin ngayon, ang magiging x, in order for you to get a successful equation, is you're going to make Leah's mother, siya ang magiging x. Okay? Kasi siya yung hinahanap. So, this is x. If Leah's mother is x, okay, ang nangyayari sa equation, if you're building it using the traditional method, this is x, ang x in 4 years, this becomes x plus 4. Okay? Now, yung x plus 4 na ito, ang sabi natin, itong x plus 4 is equal to this times 2. So, i-divide natin siya para ibalik. So, this becomes x plus 4 over 2. Tapos, yung x plus 4 over 2, ito, pag dinagdagan mo ng 4, magiging 30. So, ang equation becomes 30 is equal to x plus 4 over 2 plus 4. Now, again, that is the traditional method. Ang traditional method, again, I'm just going to erase things to make room. Okay? Ang equation mo becomes 30 is equal to the quantity x plus 4 over 2 plus 4. Again, you can try solving that, okay, if you want. Another option would be to use trial and error. Now, the reason why I basically created this method, I could say that siguro kasi I don't use this naman din when I solve, no? Kaya lang, ang problem ko is it's so hard to teach people how to create the equation. So, I thought of a way kung paano ko kayo matutulungan na mag-trial and error and still get the correct answer without using algebra. And I came up with this. So I'm going to show you how to do it. Again, the basics are the same. You're still going to create the table. Kamukha naman yung table natin. This is going to be 30 years old. Now, what we're going to do differently is this. Instead of dadaan pa tayo sa paggawa ng equation like this, okay, we're going to try to fill in all of the boxes. Okay, so the reason that why I created this method is because it's so hard to teach people how to create the equation. And so, ang naisip ko lang na paraan in order for you to kind of get a fighting chance, ibig sabihin para magkaroon kayo ng pagkakataon to answer the question, kahit hindi kayo marunong gumamit ng formula at kahit hindi kayo marunong gumamit ng algebra, is this method. So, I want you to pay attention. Again, if you need to watch this multiple times, go ahead and do it. No? I'm not expecting na isang panood nyo lang, alam nyo na agad. That is the reason why I'm making this on YouTube. Dati, exclusive to sa Team Lyqa Online, but I'm opening this to everyone kasi nga alam ko na this type of problem gives you a lot of problems pagdating sa exam. Okay? So, ang gagawin natin here is, pupunuin natin yung table sa lahat ng mga information na pwede nating makuha out of yung table itself. Okay? I-reconstruct natin yung table. Hindi tayo gagamit ng formula, gagamit tayo ng common sense. Onting math. Okay? Ganito yon. Kung 30 years old si Leia in 4 years, ibig sabihin in the future. 30 years siya in the future, ilang taon siya ngayon? Siyempre, mas bata siya ngayon kaysa in the future, right? So, gagawin lang natin, 30 minus 4, this becomes 26, right? Kasi kung 30 years old siya in the future, 4 years in the future, 26 siya dapat ngayon. Okay? Now that we have that, ang tanong, paano tayo makakarating dito sa bilog na hinahanap natin? Now, sabi natin, kung ano to, times 2 lalabas ito. So, ang gagawin lang natin is 26 times 2. 26 times 2 is 52. Lalagay lang natin siya dito. Okay? Now, kung 52 yung Leia's mother in 4 years, ang tanong, ilang taon siya ngayon? Same thing. Pag bumalik tayo sa table, magma-minus tayo. Pag ganun tayo, magpa-plus tayo. So, 52 minus 4 is 48. The answer becomes 48. That is how you get it kung merong kahit isang box lang na binigay kong actual age. Ngayon, paano kung hindi ko kayang mag-reconstruct ng table? Can I do it another way? Yes, you can still get another chance. Gagamit tayo ng trial and error. Okay? Buburahin ko lang tong numbers na to, maliban doon sa 30 kasi binigay yan doon sa problem natin. Okay? Paano ka mag-trial and error? I'll show you first using a wrong answer. Of course, alam natin yung 52 hindi yan ang tamang sagot kasi nakuha na natin na 48 ang sagot. Now, what do you do? Ang hinahanap is how old is Leia's mother. So, kung sino yung Leia's mother, ilalagay mo, Leia's mother now, doon mo ilalagay yung 52. Leia's mother now. So, this becomes 52. Kung 52 yan, ilang taon siya in 4 years? That is going to be 52 plus 4, magiging 56. Ngayon, kung 56 yung Leia's mother in 4 years, ilang taon si Leia ngayon? Sabi natin, ito, ita-times 2 natin. So, pag binabalik natin, you will do the exact opposite. Parang backtracking. Okay, yung technique na backtracking. So, para makuha yung age ni Leah ngayon, i-divide mo to sa 2. 56 divided by 2 is 28. Ngayon, kung 28 si Leah ngayon, ilang taon siya in 4 years, dapat 28 plus 4, which is 32. Hindi siya 30. So, hanggat hindi lumalabas yung 30, hindi yun ang tamang sagot. 52 is not the correct answer. Now, I'm going to try using a different colored pen. I'm going to show you na kung huhulaan ninyo na ang sagot nyo ay 48, lalabas din yung sagot. Ganito yon. Kung ilalagay ko dito yung 48, okay, kasi yun yung how old is Leah's mother now. Leah's mother now is 48. Gagawin ko yung exact same thing. Kung 48 siya dito, plus 4 is 52. Divided by 2, magiging 26. 26 plus 4 is 30. So, pareho na siya sa nakalagay doon sa ating problem. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? 48 nga talaga ang tamang sagot. Okay, so this time, we're going to use another type of problem. Iba naman na naman siya, pero age problem pa rin siya. So, we're going to ask the same questions. We're going to build a table. So, unang tanong, ilan ang tao? Kung ilan ang tao, again, it will determine the number of rows sa table natin. Kung ilan naman ang time period, yun ang magde-determine ng number of columns natin. Okay? So, ang gagawin natin is basically we're going to ask ourselves, ilan ang tao na minention sa problem? Sabi, Barry's age is twice Alex's age now. 5 times Alex's age 2 years ago is equal to Barry's age in 5 years. How old is Alex now? So, dalawa lang naman yung pangalan na minention, dalawa lang ang tao. You have Barry and Alex. So, dalawa ang rows ng ating table. Okay? So, 1, 2. Okay? So, you have Alex, you have Barry. Ngayon, time period naman tayo. Ilan ang time period? So, meron kang is, which is in the present tense. Meron kang now. So, definitely, meron kang present tense. Ngayon, next, we're going to talk about yung susunod naman na time period na minention. Sabi, 5 times Alex's age 2 years ago. Ano ibig sabihin ng 2 years ago? That is in the past. So, yun yung pangalawang time period natin. Meron pa bang iba? So, meron dito nakalagay in 5 years. So, that is in the future. So, meron kang present, past, future. Wala naman ng iba. Kasi yung how old is Alex now is still in the present. So, hindi naman na mauulit yon. So, definitely meron kang past, present, future. Again, ang suggestion ko, you write it like this, past, present, and future. This is your now. Your now point is always 0. Okay? Tapos meron kang 2 years ago. 2 years ago in the past, yung 2 years ago, ibig sabihin yan, minus 2 siya. Yung in 5 years, that is in the future, so ibig sabihin yan is plus 5. Okay? Now, again, now that we have that table, pupunuin na natin siya ng information na nandun sa problem. Okay? I'm sorry. Ayan. Information sa problem, ang gagawin lang natin is, ilalagay natin lahat ng nakalagay na information. Okay? Ngayon, ang sabi is, Barry's age is, or ibig sabihin yan, ngayon yan, twice Alex's age now. So, Barry's age, which is now, ito yon, ito daw, ay equal sa times 2 ng Alex's age now. So, Alex's age now, ito, pag times 2 ko to, lalabas yung age ni Barry ngayon. Same thing that we did kanina dun sa problem na nauna. Next, ang sabi, 5 times what? Alex's age 2 years ago. So, ang tanong, nasan yung Alex's age 2 years ago? Nasang box yun? Ito yon. Alex's age 2 years ago, ito yon. Times 5 naman. Kasi sabi, 5 times nito. Okay? Pag 5 times is 5 times, lalabas yung Barry's age in 5 years. So, Barry's age in 5 years, ito yon. Okay? So, ito naman, pag times 5 mo, lalabas, dapat ito. Okay? Ngayon, na-drawing na natin lahat ng information nung nandun sa board. We're going to use trial and error na. Ang tanong is, how old is Alex now? So, ang gagawin lang natin, yung mga information na ito, iisa-isahin natin, ilalagay natin dun sa Alex now, and we're going to reconstruct the table. Now, if you are not comfortable with that, if you want to use the equation, it's going to be like this. How old is Alex now? This becomes your x. Okay? This becomes x minus 2. This becomes x times 2 or 2x. This becomes x times 2 plus 5. Your equation becomes x minus 2 times 5 is equal to x times 2 plus 5. That is your equation. But again, kung hindi nyo kayang magluwa ng equation, what do you do? Okay? You're going to use your trial and error. Okay? Now, buburahin ko lang ito para may space tayo for our trial and error. I'm going to show you how to do it. Ang suggestion ko lagi, if you're going to use trial and error, huwag nyo simulan sa pinakamalit o pinakamalaki. Okay? Kasi mas madaling mag-eliminate if you use, sabihin na natin yung pangalawa sa pinakamalit or pangalawa sa pinakamalaki. The reason for that is, kasi kung makukuha ninyo yung sagot tapos mali, okay? Tapos sobra siya, bababa ka ngayon dun sa kulang. Kung kulang naman siya, akit ka dun sa taas. Makakapagsimula kang mag-eliminate. Okay? So, mababawasan yung time if you try using yung pangalawa sa simula or pangalawa sa mataas na number. So, in this case, we can try 10. Okay? So, ngayon, susubukan natin yung 10. We're going to use our blue pen for that. Kung 10 ang sagot, okay? Alex's age now becomes 10. Okay? Now, kung 10 yung Alex's age now, ilang taon siya 2 years ago? That is 10 minus 2 or 8. Ngayon, kung 10 naman si Alex ngayon, si Barry becomes 10 times 2, which is 20. And Alex's age and Barry's age in 5 years is 20 plus 5. This becomes 25. So, ang question would be this. 8 times 5 ba lalabas 25? Now, 8 times 5 is 40. Hindi siya equal sa 25, which is yung dapat na sagot. So, ibig sabihin nun, 10 is wrong. It's not the correct answer. Okay? Now, I'm going to use a different colored pen. Okay? I-overlap na lang natin para lang makita nyo. Yung 10, nakita natin sobrang taas. Okay? Kasi yung 25 naging 40. So, baba tayo. If we use, for example, 5. Kung gagawin natin 5 years old si Alex ngayon, okay? Don't mind yung blue ballpen ha, yung blue na sulat. Doon lang kayo sa green tumingin. Kung 5 years old si Alex now, ilang taon siya 2 years ago? Siya ay 5 minus 2 years old or 3. Ngayon, kung 5 years old si Alex ngayon, si Barry is 5 times 2, which is 10. In 5 years, si Barry na 10 years old ngayon becomes 15 years old. Now, tanong, yung 3 ko ba, pag minultiply ko siya sa 5, magiging 15? Yes, kasi if 3 times 5 is equal to 15, pareho na siya doon sa lumabas dito, then that means C ang tamang sagot. So again, if you use trial and error, you would get to the correct answer. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to try to solve this problem by yourself. Okay, all you need to do is to draw the table and then use trial and error to get to the correct answer. Okay, so hit pause now. Okay, so we're going to use the techniques that we learned. Again, tatanong natin ilan ang tao, ilan ang time period. Unang tanong, ilan ang tao doon sa ating question? We have Sean and Jean. So, dalawa sila. So, ang rows natin ay 1, 2. 2 rows. Okay? You have Sean and Jean. Next question, ilan ang time period natin? You have is. Okay? So, pag may sinabing is, ibig sabihin yan ay now, present tense kasi yan. Diba? So, ang gagawin natin next, kung meron kang now, what else? You have 8 years from now. Yung 8 years from now is in the future. Kasi Tagalog yan, 8 taon mula ngayon. So, nasa future yon. 8 years from now, I will be older. So, ibig sabihin nasa future yan. Dalawa ang time period natin. Wala nang iba kasi yung will be is the same as the future. Yung is still now. So, dalawa ang column natin. Now, I really hope you got this table right. Kahit table lang muna on your first try, okay na yon. You have your now, and then you have 8 years from now, okay, or plus 8. Ngayon, ang sabi, dun sa problem natin, Sean is 3 times as old as Jean. Ibig sabihin yung age ni Sean is equal to 3 times nung age ni Jean. So, pag times 3 ko to, age ni Jean, lalabas yung edad ni Sean. Okay, that is our first clue. Next, sabi 8 years from now, so nasa future na yon, dito sa side na ito, Sean will be twice as old as Jean. Ibig sabihin nun, Sean will be, itong age ni Sean na to, is equal to twice or times 2 nung age ni Jean. So, times 2 naman ito, lalabas yung ito, bilog na yan. Question is, how old is Jean? So, kung how old is Jean, ibig sabihin na hanap, Jean in the present. So all we need to do is we're going to have to use trial and error. Now, again, if you want to use the traditional method, Jean becomes x. This becomes x times 3. X times 3. This becomes x times 3 plus 8. Okay? This becomes x plus 8. So our formula is going to be x plus 8 times 2 is equal to x minus 3 plus 8. Again, kung kaya ninyong magluwa ng formula. But if, for example, hindi talaga kaya, what do? We're going to use trial and error. Now, using the same circles, okay, we're just going to fill in the number that you want to guess. Okay? So, for example, kung gusto nating hulaan, sabi ko, di ba, if you want, you can start with the second highest or second lowest. So, subukan natin yung 14. Dahil ang tanong is si Jean, dito natin ilalagay, 14. So, 14 times 3 is going to give you 30 plus 12. That is 42. Now, 8 years from now, yung 42 years old magiging 50 years old. 42 plus 8 kasi is 50. Yung 14 years old, 14 plus 8 is going to give you 22. So, ang tanong, 22 times 2 ba magiging 50? Hindi, kasi 44 lang yon. So, hindi 14 ang sagot, hindi letter B. Ma-eliminate na natin yon. Okay? So, what can we do next? Okay? Now, we can use another number. I'm going to change the color of my ink lang. Erase this para lang may pwesto pa tayo for our trial and error. Okay? Okay, again, use green if we can try 12. Kung 12 years old si Jean, ngayon, times 3, magiging 36 years old siya. Plus 8, itong age na to, that is going to give you 44 years old. 12 plus 8 is going to give you 20. Now, 20 times 2 is not 44. Okay? Kasi 20 times 2 is 40. So, hindi rin siya equal. So, ibig sabihin, hindi rin 12 ang sagot. We can try another color. Gawin natin 8. Kung 8 years old si Jean, okay? Times 3, 8, 16, 24. 24 si Sean. Now, in 8 years, si Sean na 24 magiging 32 years old. Si G naman plus 8 din, magiging 16 years old. Now, 16 times 2 ba? 32? Yes. So, dahil pareho na silang 32, pareho na sila ng kinalabasan, the answer becomes letter C, 8. Again, anong key? Table and trial and error. Okay? So, more practice pa para mas bumilis pa kayo.
Alright, I hope you learned something today. If you did, click thumbs up. Make sure that you share this video with your friends, lalo na kung mag-exam din sila like you. And as always, click subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube para malaman ninyo as soon as a new video posts. If you have any questions or you want one of the reviewers or you want to attend one of the live review events, go to www.facebook.com/Team Lyqa to find out all the details that you need. Thank you guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.